How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about Steam hardware. And in today's video, we have a ton of new updates related to the Steam Machine to cover. And after that, I was fortunate enough to play Forza Horizon 6 early. So here are some great tweaks you can make to make it look and run as good as possible on the Steam Deck. And it actually runs pretty dang good. I hope you're having a great week playing a ton of video games. Like I mentioned, been playing Forza Horizon 6 like crazy. I love it. I was getting really bored of 5, if I'm being honest. It already started out with one of my least favorite maps in the game, and it was the newest one, so I played with it with the racing wheel. I'm not going back. This new one is that good. As usual, let me know what you're playing down in the comments below, and on top of that, 70% of the people who watch this channel regularly are not subscribed to it, so if you're one of those people, help me out by subscribing and setting your notifications to all. But let's get into the first news story here, because man, the SteamOS updates are coming hard and they're happening really frequently. I'm just going to leave it at that. And they're bringing along a lot of Steam Machine features. So the first thing you can try out right now on your Steam Deck, or if you have a SteamOS PC, or I guess the Legion Go, whatever. If you have SteamOS running on a handheld or a PC, you can actually check out the brand new UI they've just added. If you update to the beta channel, it is only viewable right now in the settings menu, but it's a very clean overhaul of the overall look and feel of SteamOS. They've gotten rid of some of the redundant settings and the extraneous ones that didn't really matter. They've moved some stuff around. Overall, it moves a lot quicker too. It's a lot less choppy than it was before on my Steam Deck OLED, so that is much appreciated. On my SteamOS PC, nothing's choppy. It's a great PC. It's got a 9800 X3D, 9070 XT. It has no issues, but even though the Steam Deck's 4.5 years old or whatever, I want to make sure that Valve is aware that they should keep SteamOS running and looking really good on that handheld. They should not abandon anything on that handheld really ever until people stop using it, of course. But, at least until the Steam Deck 2 is out, it should continue to get all of the updates. And so far, they've lived up to that expectation from me. Some would say it's a pretty lofty expectation, but others would say it's just the right thing to do. And that's what Valve usually does. Speaking of them doing the right thing, some of the people in the UK who are waiting a long time for their Steam controller to show up are finding that if they reach out to Steam support and let them know what's going on, they're being rewarded with a free game of their choice on Steam. So if you're one of my UK watchers who got in on the first order wave of Steam controllers, you might want to reach out to Steam support to see if they'll hook you up with a free game. But anyway, moving on to all the beta updates, there's a lot of stuff that Brad Lynch, aka Sadly It's Bradley on X, was able to find in regards to the Steam Machine in that exact beta that overhauled the settings menu. So SteamOS now includes controls for the Steam Machine's LED bar. I kind of forgot about that. I forgot it has an SD card slot as well, and then I talked about it in a recent video. But yeah, there's controls for the LED bar. They've added in HDMI CEE support. My SteamOS PC has had this for a while, so I don't know if it's new, but maybe it's just related to the actual Steam Machine's HDMI port or something like that. And on top of that, there's a reference to the new verified program that they're working on for the Steam Machine. So yeah, in the last video, I said that I was pretty sure the Steam frame would come first, but a lot of the recent SteamOS updates that they've been doing lately have been directly related to the Steam Machine. And that's on top of a lot of the stuff they've been adding for the Steam controller. I saw that in a Discord, a Valve developer said they forgot to ship the actual settings for grip sense before the Steam controller came out. So that's why a lot of the reviews couldn't actually figure out how to get to it. It's because it shipped late for the controller. But in addition to adding all of those features, they've been adding a lot of stuff for the Steam Machine. So when you see those two getting updated in tandem, I know the Steam controller does work with the Steam frame, but if you had to pick one device that it was made exclusively for, it would probably be the Steam Machine, since that's its console controller. So yeah, seeing them update this stuff all at the same time, it leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, either A, we're getting the Steam Machine next in line, or B, there's not going to be a long wait if the Steam frame comes first. So overall, these are great updates, and it also looks like by the time the Steam Machine launches, we're not only going to get HDMI 2.1 support, which is something I know a lot of people were really worried about, we're also potentially going to get support for FSR4. We'll start out with the good stuff first, the FSR4 implementation. So people have figured out how to backport it to the Steam Deck and other PCs that don't have RDNA 4 cards for a while now. It's not necessarily a new thing. And on the Steam Deck, it depends on the game, but it is definitely worth using in some games because even though you have to use the performance preset to get that performance uplift that you would get from quality or ultra quality on FSR 3, it looks so much better on performance mode that it's like really the first version of FSR I've experienced that looks close to on par with maybe DLSS 3, whereas FSR 3, the previous version, was not even on par with like DLSS 2. It was just really not great. And yeah, I don't like using that. So using FSR 4 on the Steam Deck unofficially has been good. But the reason it's potentially officially coming to the Steam Machine and the Steam Frame, but the reason it looks like there's a good shot it'll come to the Steam Machine at launch and by proxy the Steam Deck as well, is that AMD announced today that they're supporting older cards. So they specifically mentioned RDNA 3 cards, neither of which are used by the Steam Machine or Steam Deck. But in the sizzle reel video where they talked about supporting older cards, they also show other gaming handhelds like the Legion Go S, I want to say, and maybe an ROG Xbox Ally. They don't show a Steam Deck, but the point is those two handhelds are also RDNA 2. So if they're showing that while talking about RDNA 3, I think that's them kind of pointing to the fact that FSR 4 is going to become the default universal option for anyone using upscaling on a non-NVIDIA card. And that's good because if you didn't know, PSSR, the upscaler that's included on the PS5 Pro, Sony put their name on the 2.0 version, but it's really just FSR 4.5. And that's important to point out because it's a huge upgrade over both PSSR 1, of course, but also FSR 3. And the important thing is all the features they added to PSSR 2 are in FSR 4.5 and honestly look and run a little bit better on PC if you've got a card that can take advantage of it. I know that if you have an NVIDIA card, you're not really going to want to use FSR 4, but if you have a 9070 XT like I do, it's a go-to default option that's just so much better than what we had before. So any way you slice it, it looks like FSR 4 is going to become the default while they work on FSR 5 and probably keep that exclusive to newer cards than the 9070 XT. But yeah, it looks like we're going to have support for that on the Steam Machine, if not at launch, hopefully soon after. And then hopefully they're also able to get it running on the Steam Deck as well, because even though you can do it, having to go into launch commands and use Optiscale and all this stuff, it's just not what the average user is going to want to do. So if they can make it easy, that's very important. And when it comes to HDMI 2.1, this has been weird because they announced the Steam Machine and said it supports up to 120 FPS gameplay. But then when they were asked about HDMI 2.1, they were like, it's not supported at launch. They were a little coy about it. It turned out it's because AMD's drivers don't have the correct license for HDMI 2.1 on Linux. Long story short, that issue has been resolved. So hopefully Valve in the background has been working on this so that they can have it ready to go on the Steam Machine for launch, because I gotta be real, I don't really care all that much. I play games at 60 FPS, but I know there's a lot of sickos out there who are deep in the lore of VRR and HDMI 2.1 and 120 hertz and 120 FPS. I mean, if you're going to be playing older games, you'll definitely be able to hit that with the Steam Machine's hardware, but I'll be happy with the solid 60, and having FSR 4 and HDMI 2.1 obviously helps get us in that direction. So yeah, hopefully very soon we have some real concrete updates from Valve, but until then, keep up the great work, Brad Lynch. You're killing it. You're giving me so much stuff to talk about and so much stuff to be excited about. Like, it's just crazy how much stuff he's able to find, and I really appreciate it. So big shout out to him. But to round out the video, let's talk about Forza Horizon 6. You guys know I've been waiting for this game for years. I'm a day one Forza Horizon player. I bought it at launch digitally with my Xbox 360. It came in the box, but I loved it so much that I wanted a physical copy. And that year it went on sale on Black Friday, like the year it came out, for $20 at Walmart. I left Thanksgiving dinner at my ex-girlfriend's house and she was fucking pissed at me, but it was worth it because that game was awesome. So I've been playing every single one. So I've been playing Forza Horizon 6 for like 20 hours at this point. I'd say a quarter to a third of that time was on the Steam Deck, and overall it runs great. It's a really good experience on the Steam Deck. Out of the box, it has good settings and you shouldn't have to change them, and you don't really have to, but I've got some tweaks that you'll want to apply immediately if you're a performance nut like I am. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into the settings and switch it to 800p, fill out your whole screen. If you have a Steam Deck OLED, of course, turn HDR on. This game does not have the same bug as as Forza Horizon 4 and 5, where HDR makes the text unreadable. So that's important. Leave the frame limit in game at 30 FPS and leave VSync on. It helps with performance for some reason. Also limit it with the built-in limiter to 30 FPS and it'll run great at those settings. And then I know you're going to want to change it to very low to try to get 40, 45, or 60 FPS. Don't bother. You're not going to be able to hold a consistent 40 in this game. It is a 30 FPS experience. And if you want justification for that, their recommended spec for the Xbox ROG Ally X is 1080p high at 30 FPS. I tested it on that thing running SteamOS. It cannot even hold a rock solid 40 at any preset. So it must be a CPU or network limitation or something like that. Regardless, it's made to run at 30 FPS, and the best way to run it is at 30. The last thing I tested was the classic trick of limiting the megahertz of the GPU. In 4 and 5, if you limited it to 1200 megahertz, it would run a lot smoother in terms of frame time. This one, you're going to want to limit it to 1600. So you're not limiting it, you're maxing it out. Keeping it sustained there just makes it run as good as possible. And even though that kind of cuts down on the battery life by 5 to 10 minutes at most, it already is kind of a battery hog. So like, what's an extra 5 or 10 minutes for more consistent performance? And as far as the game quality goes, I love this game. It is probably recency bias, acknowledged. My favorite one since 3. My two favorites are Forza Horizon 1 and Forza Horizon 3. 4 is a close second to those two. 5, I like the driving in a lot. I really dislike the map, and this is just so good that it's breaking my chain of like when a new one comes out, I leave the old one installed so I can switch back and forth because they play so similar. But this one, they really refine the actual driving experience under the hood. Get it? The driving feels much better. The cars have weight. They feel right when you're driving them. I don't have any other way to say it. And also, they don't feel like they're on ice anymore when you lose control. Like the map doesn't slide out from under you. It feels like your car is connected to the ground. Rally has been massively improved. Drifting has been massively improved. And as far as the map goes, oh my God, this map is good. It's vertical. There's mountains you can drive around in, like Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift. And the coolest thing is, if you're driving around at night, the Horizon Festival is in the center of the map and you can see fireworks over it at night and it just looks amazing. But even with the verticality, there's also density. Like you'll be driving, you'll see a random cutaway into the woods. You'll discover a racetrack with a time trial that you can just do in the open world right in the middle of the woods. That happens every 5 minutes. And the last thing I want to praise them for is the campaign. It actually has a structured campaign now. So like you start with a green wristband, you do some races with D-class cars, you do a final race, you get the blue wristband, you get C-class cars, you do races, then B, then A, then S. I think there's a tier above S, but it limits you to using those cars through the campaign. But they also still give you wheel spins, they give you cool cars, they give you money. So when you finish the campaign wristband system, you're not starting from scratch. You have a good garage all ready to drive around this amazing open world Japanese map. So yep, overall, excellent experience. And if you just have a Steam Deck, this one is deck ready approved. You don't need an extra PC. This isn't a supplementary device game. You can just play through it on Steam Deck, online, offline. Once you log in once, it allows you to play offline. If I had to score it, for me personally, it is a 10 out of 10. So yeah, guys, that's all I've got for you in this one. No Blender this week. I've just been making videos. I just recorded one with my friend Bill from the Nerd Nest podcast. He interviewed Valve, so I picked out a few questions and we broke it down. So after I edit this, I'm gonna edit that. I am joining the Nerd Nest again this week. They invited me back. They said, Jimmy, you are so dumb and stupid that it's nice to have someone to bounce off of to make us all look really smart. I said, thanks guys. That's what I'm here for. That was a joke. No one can ever tell when I'm being sarcastic. These guys are all extremely nice, but I appreciate all the support lately. Had a 2 million view video on Twitter. Kind of nuts. I showed off my SteamOS PC and yeah, just been having a really good month so far. I'm putting my hand in this hole in my pants. I'll show it to you. See this hole? It's from my phone. I have a hole in my pocket from my phone and it went through my pants. And when I get nervous or agitated and I'm talking too much, I put my hand in it. It's like a little comfort pocket. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and shape on.